Hello everyone, welcome to Power Hour. Power Apps has a new feature called Copilot comment generated formulas, which means you can go into a formula box in your Power App and start typing a comment and hit enter. Basically, you're using that as a prompt, and then it will generate a formula for you in your Power App in whatever property that you're in. All right, Joelle, how do you feel about when you are writing formulas in Power Apps? Sometimes I have to go look them up, go look in the Power Apps reference. Do you think this is going to be a awesome new feature of being able to just type a description of what you want your formula to be?
Yeah, definitely. It'll save a lot of time instead of having to troubleshoot, try things, Google things. It'll be nice to be able to just do that and then fix it from there, right within the app.
Yeah, it's interesting. You do kind of have to know where to be in your Power App. You have to go to the right control and to the right property of that control to know where to start typing this prompt. But once you're there, it's a nice little shortcut. So let's get started with a demo. Okay, so here we are. And this is just our welcome to Power Hour. I've got a link here for you all that are joining in the chat. So we have this lively chat going on in Teams. It's your first time joining. You have a link down below wherever you're watching this video to request to join. And so we have our chat here. You'll get added to the Power Hour team, general channel, go to the tab for today. And then here is where the chat is. So you can just pop out this little chat window and watch the video while you're chatting with us. So that's how you can chat with us. And of course, we have Power Hour Wednesdays at 11 Central. So here we are in Power Apps. Now this is the Power App that I shared with you all that you all can go try out from that link. But I'll go ahead and kind of work through a few examples of this new feature. And first of all, we'll talk about how to turn it on, where it is, and then how powerful it's going to be to use basically as a shortcut when you're building your apps to, you kind of know what your formula needs to be, but you don't feel like writing out all the syntax, then this is the setting for you. All right. So let me make sure I'm zoomed in. That's a little better. Okay. So I go to the settings for my app. And then in the updates here, I have, of course, this one, I have modern controls and themes turned on. And I have, here it is, Copilot comment generated formulas. So this is where basically all you do, just like a normal comment that you're typing whenever you put comments in your code, now you can use your comment as a prompt. So you're going to and just go to whatever property you need to be in and then start typing the comment and just hit enter. And that's how it works as long as you have this setting turned on. So I have a few examples. I have this purchase request app. So I have a few examples of some of the things that we're going to be able to do in here. It's kind of fun doing demos because I use Copilot to give me, I came up with 2 or 3 examples and then I said, wait a minute, this is taking a while. And I just got Copilot to help me come up with a few more examples. So it's a nice little shortcut. So the first thing that I can see is I have this little cute purchase request app. You've seen this in other Power Hours where we have, I had showed you how this Power Apps toolbar works. So I have a little form. I have this toolbar that we created. That's also, this is actually also the toolbar control as this navigation. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to say I want to just do some sort of conditional formatting. So that's the first thing that I'm going to do is I've got an app. It's all pretty much functioning and I'm just adding a few things and I'm adding just the ability to have it a different color for the status depending on what the status is. So now, you do, before you start using this setting, you do have to know where to go. So it helps to be familiar with Power Apps already, and you kind of worked in Power Apps before, and you've kind of know how to get around in here, because you do have to know how to select the property, the control that you want, and the property of it. So like I have this little status label, and this is a label control that is just in my gallery. And so you have to go to the control where you want to make this change, where you want to do this configuration, and then you still have to know which property of that control to go to. So it is still a kind of a slightly advanced functionality, but again, it's more shortcutty for people that are just used to working in here all the time, and just it makes it a little faster for writing formulas. So I'm just going to go to my color here, and instead of this just color that's RGBA color that it's already got for this text, I'm going to say write a prompt. So what you do is you just go to the property, the formula for that color. I'm just going to delete what's in there, and I'm going to write two backslashes and just start typing what your prompt is. So I want this to be green if it's new, blue if approved, orange if in progress. I didn't even hit enter yet, and it's already generated the formula for me. So hit enter and I accept a tab to accept it. So look how fast that was. Look at my color coding. So it's already got what I need. So let me see if I change it. Red if rejected. I wonder if it's gonna, oh yeah, see, it just basically rewrote it. So I'll just remove that old one. Isn't that nice? It's so fast. So instead of having to type all of that out, it just writes the whole thing. So then I can just do format text, and I can see, and also you can use this as a learning tool. So a lot of these things in these products, you use it as a learning tool when you're first learning the product. This is one of those things that you still kind of, like I said, you have to know how to make your way around in Power Apps, but it's a good learning tool, and it's a good shortcut tool for people that are kind of already kind of immersed in this little world here and already building apps. Okay, so I'll do another one. So now I've got the price over here. So I've got this price label. And so what I want to do is I want to make the font bold if it's got a certain price value. So let's see, I'm going to make the font bold. So I need to go to, so I select the label that I want to go to, and I go to the font weight. So instead of font weight normal, I'm going to say, make the font bold if the price is greater than 1,000, otherwise normal. So then I tab to accept it, and look at that. That's so cool. What do you think about that, Joelle? See if you can, everybody just kind of be pondering and brainstorming ideas of kind of where you might be able to use this, or an app that you're working on where you can think of, shortcuts that you can use this for. So yeah, and also you don't have to have a Copilot, a Microsoft 365 Copilot license for this. This is just the Copilot that's built into Power Apps. This is the Copilot that is just in here that you can talk to anytime. That's not necessarily a certain license level, at least at this point it isn't. So you can turn on this setting and just leave it on. So Lisa was asking, do you have to toggle it on and off if you want to add normal comments? Yeah, I guess if you don't want it to suggest them for you and you just want to type your own comment, then I guess it would help to turn this off so it doesn't keep trying to help you if you don't want it to help you. That's a good question. How does it handle if tests? Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll try to do an if one. That's a good idea. So let's do a few other ones. So I'm going to say in my gallery here, I want the whole row to be a certain color if it's high priority. Now, we have a priority field. So I'll just go click on one of these. So the priority field is in here, and it's just not necessarily showing in the gallery, but every item does have a priority. So I'll go ahead and say, if it's a high priority, then I'll make it a certain color. So the way we do the row colors in a gallery is with this template fill. So right now I've got just this white smoke is kind of one of my favorite colors to use as a template fill. And then I'm going to go just remove this and I'll put a prompt in here. So I'll say, otherwise white smoke. Highlight row light yellow if priority is high, otherwise white smoke. Oops, put my cursor at the end. And then let's see if it, oops, sorry. If this item priority value is high, color fade yellow, otherwise color white smoke. So look at that. So now we've got these really obnoxious colors in our gallery. So that's another example of just a way that you can make your gallery look. Then we have a way you can filter your items. So what I did was I created a whole separate gallery, a whole separate screen with a separate gallery. And then I actually used my filter used a prompt to create my filter. So I'll just like delete this and run it again. Filter purchase requests by just the ones where the created by is the current user. And then it's got filter purchase requests where author.email equals user.email. So now it is a filtered list of just those requests for the currently logged in user. Now, of course, in SharePoint, you can also be created by .email. Author is just the system name for that particular field. Another thing that we can do for items, and I'll just say show requests created this month. So instead of this, I'm just going to delete all this. I'll wipe all that out. And again, you have to know where to go. So here's where I am. I'm clicked on the gallery and I'm on the items property. And so the items property for any list of things that you have in your Power App, like a table, a drop down, anything that's got an items property, that's where you're going to give it the data source, and that's where you're going to use this filter function. So for this next one, I'll try show purchase request created this month. All right, so it's got filter purchase requests where month created equals month today, and it's got a couple of delegation issues. So that one might not be the best. They did come up with it correctly, but that might not be the best way to go about that one, but it did filter it. So it filtered it down to just 4 of them that were created this month. So I might want to adjust that, because I might want to figure out a way to not have these delegation issues when I'm doing something like that, especially with a large data set. So it's just kind of a side note. Let's do sort. I'm going to see if I can add the sort as another new line in here. Sort purchase request by amount highest first. So it did put it in a separate function here. It put it like just as a separate line. So what I would want to do is, again, it's one of those more advanced Power Apps things where you'd have to start combining your functions. And I'll do and then I'll delete this. Let's see if it can handle that. Okay, it put them together. It said sort purchase requests, and it combined it with the filter. So it wrapped the sort around the filter. So that's at least showing you the syntax for combining multiple functions together on a gallery, because that can be really tricky sometimes, because you have to have all your commas in the right places and all your parameters in the right places. Let's see. Filter requests let's see. So I'm going to do a couple of different ones now. I'm going to do Let's see. First of all, let me see if there are any questions. How does it do? Yeah, we're talking about if statements and nested if statements versus switch. Yeah. So to kind of address what y'all are talking about, the switch is, let me go back to that color. So green if new, blue if approved, orange in progress, and then it switches because it's got 3 different things. So it uses a switch instead of an if. And then that other one that I did with the bold, that one did, and basically if it's over this amount in bold. So if you needed to have a nested if, it would probably just know that would be the best way to configure that formula, but it would probably give you a switch if a switch was a more efficient way to do it. So yeah, it's going to be a matter of like whatever that particular situation is. So I'm going to do a couple of other different ones. I'm just going to basically create a brand new screen and just a brand new gallery and do a couple of fun, fancy things. All right. So I'm going to say, take this purchase request, this my request. I'll take this one and I'll just duplicate it. And that way I don't have to break what I've been doing. And then what I'm going to do is I'll do a couple of things with icons and interesting things in galleries. Then we can do a couple things in forms too. So, and again, just let me know what other questions you have as we're going. And Joelle, let me know let me know in the chat if there are any YouTube questions. Okay, so I'm going to take this gallery in my go to my new copy of this screen and delete that. And I'm just going to put a new gallery in here. And that's going to point to my purchase requests. And I'll do a couple of other fun things. So image title, I don't need an image for these, so I'm going to use a different format. So this has got, it just puts the title, and then I'll put the, let's see, price and status. And then, so that's just me quickly adding a few fields, but then I'm going to add just a couple of other interesting things in here. So I'll go ahead and insert, what I want to do is an icon. So now with the modern controls, the icon isn't something you're going to put in a Power App just by itself because you can't click on it. I guess if you want to just display an icon, you could use the icon control. If you ever need to be able to click on the icon, you're going to use a button and just tell it icon only. So let me see if I can just do icon. In this example, I just want to show an icon if something's approved. So I'm showing what the status is here. And if it's approved, I want the icon I want it to be a check that's just going to show. So it's only going to show, let's see, let me do that. Check. Let's see, I think I like this little circle one. Okay, so I only want this to show if it is approved. Now, there are other ways that you could do. You could even conditionally show and hide, or conditionally show different icons depending on something is certain different statuses. But I'm just going to go to the visible property of this one. And I'll say only show if item has a status of approved. Oops, only show this icon. Okay, so yeah, that looks correct. Now, it didn't have to put an if statement. So all it's doing is it just evaluates to true. So now see the ones that are approved, show a little checkbox next to them. So this formula that it wrote just evaluates to true. I'll go back to that little checkbox. So this item.status.value equals approved. So since this visible property is a Boolean, it can only equal true or false, then you just have to put a formula in here that equals true. And so then it shows it's true if it equals approved. So let's see what else. It's got show the number of days since it was created. So let's try doing that. So I'll stick a label in here. And in my label, I'll say, instead of just this random value that it gave me, I'll just see if I can get it to do like a calculation. Show the number of days since created. Oh, that one's a little trickier. Oh no, since this item, or calculate the number of days. Maybe that's a better, oh, there we go. Okay, it's doing a date diff. So see, I wouldn't have necessarily known off the top of my head that the date diff is the formula that I need for this. So there you go, it's written it for me. Date diff is like the date difference. So now it's just letting me know that's the exact formula that I need, and I don't have to go look it up. So let's see. It's been a lot of days since I created some of these, I guess. 378. They all say 378. That doesn't, oh wait, no they don't. Okay. So I guess I did a demo where I created a bunch of them 378 days ago, but now I've got, you can see I've got some newer ones in here. So yeah, that date diff is interesting, and it's good to know it doesn't look like that one's going to have any delegation issues either. So let's see, where was that? Right here. Yeah. I like that. I like that, the fact that that one doesn't have delegation issues. Let's see. Yeah, Lisa said date formulas give me a headache. That's perfect. So let's go look at stuff that we could do on the form itself. So I'll just go back to the home page of this app and then go fill out a form, and we can, do a couple of fancy things on the form. So maybe I want to show, like, if it's a high priority, as soon as I pick the word high, maybe I want the word priority to be red or something like that. So I'll just go in here and put it back to normal. And then, so again, to get to this, before you even start using this prompt, you're going to go click on the thing that you want to customize. So in this case, since I'm in a card, I have to unlock my card so that it'll let me edit it. And then I go to the priority. And so this is the thing that I want to have a different color. So I'll go to it says font color here. And I'll just say if see if it knows. Okay, so the unfortunate thing about this is that it's only going to show if you're looking at an existing item that you've already clicked on. So this is based on some like data already being submitted. So I don't think that's going to work just like dynamically. Let me see. Yeah, see, no, it doesn't change it. So what it would need to do is it would need to reference this specific control. Let's see, priority. Let's see, I'll call it DRP priority. And I'm going to get a little more specific with my prompt. See, again, I don't know, it's a little less useful when you have to like go through here and babysit it and like change things just to kind of dumb it down. So I'll say red if DRP has high selected. Get a little more specific. Let's see if that works. Still might be a little bit of a time saver. Okay, look at that. Okay, now let me try that out. Look at that. So I'll go back to normal, then I go back to high. All right. Lisa said, how about making a form field visible if a different field is required? Yeah, we can do that with cards. So I'll say only, let's see, only if it's high do we need to have a justification. Okay. So if it's high, then I want this card to show, this whole justification card to appear. And then, but if not, it just won't ask them that question. So let me copy this real quick. Copy. So then again, you have to know where to go. So I have to click on this card. And since I want the whole card to disappear, I have to go to the visible property of the card. And so this is where I would type my formula. Show, let's see, true if has and I like to kind of do this drop down box before I hit enter so I can see what it's generating. Oh no, didn't like that. Let's see. Try that again. And go. I don't know. It doesn't like that one. So show if, maybe use the word show. Now I'm not necessarily saving time by having to change this 3 or 4 times. Okay, look, it's doing it now. Okay, so DRP priority.selected.value equals high. And again, since visible is a Boolean, so now it's justification is showing. And now I change it to normal and justification disappears. So yeah, that worked. Let's see. Joelle, do you have anything you can think of from like the app that you've been using recently, like formulas that were a pain that would help to have this?
That's a good question. We've kind of covered a few of them, but I would say just creating like the filters in a gallery, like if you have like something like a drop down, that might take too long to show today, but like if you had like a drop down, and want to be able to filter your gallery by like 2 or 3 drop downs, just being able to
Oh,
do that, like that kind of stuff is always trying to figure out. Like I think Lisa mentioned like the nested ifs, like whenever you have like those situations or switches or whatever.
yeah, let's do that. Okay, so um, so I have this and I have status. So I'll do a status drop down at the top. So let me get what's my status? Let me go to my status drop down in the form to get the list of statuses. Do I not have it in here? Go add it then. A lot of the times I don't put the status on the form if the status is automatically being set behind the scenes, like by a workflow. So that's probably why it wasn't on here. Okay, so now I have, these are my status choices, and that's what I can use. Let me take this back up. All right, so I'll go back to cancel, go back to here, and then let's try doing that. So I'll put I'll just stick this like a drop down, a combo box. At the top. And then I'll put my status choices. So I just went to the drop down box in the form to get whatever the list of the status choices are. So then I'll just call this filter, let's see, CMB filter status. Okay, and then in my gallery, you'd have to go to the items property. And right now I don't have any filters on it. So I'll say filter filter purchase request by that, and I put the name of the combo box, filter status. So let's do that. Filter purchase request where status.value equals. So it didn't put the right, didn't point to the right control. So this is supposed to be, oh, I thought I renamed this. I'm sorry, no wonder it was confused. I know I renamed it. It just didn't take what I typed in here. CMB filter. Okay, now it's correct. So I'm going to try that again now that I've got the right naming in here. So it doesn't just guess and make up a control name. Oh, come on, you can do it. No, it doesn't like that one. Selected status value. I think it almost had it a second ago. It's a little hit and miss though. Oh, look at that. Okay. Filter purchase request where status.value equals CMB filter. That looks correct. Okay. And let's go to new. There's my new items in progress. Approve. Look at that. That's very cool. Now, the problem with this is kind of like a little more advanced concept too, is that if there's nothing selected, just by default, nothing in the drop down, then would you want it to show everything in the gallery? So let me see if I can. Also have to have the ability to reset that. So I'm going to say insert another little button. I'm going to make that like a little reset, like eraser, like to reset my filter. Icon only. There. And reset the, oops, reset the, I know it's a very simple function, but I'm just going to see, I'm testing it here. Yes, it did it. Okay. I think I could just do the name of the control there. There. Okay. Okay, so now it's reset. There's nothing showing. So then we would need a more advanced function, wouldn't we? So we would need to tell it for the items property, so I only want it to filter this if there's nothing selected, if there is something selected. So then I kind of have to describe all of that too. Otherwise, okay, let me delete that, just copy it. See if it can handle that. That's a little more advanced. Nah, yeah. Let's see. There, I worded it a little differently. Oh, look at that. Okay. If not is blank, and then it's got the name of the combo box, filter the list of purchase requests. Otherwise, just show all the purchase requests. Oh, look at that. It's so cool. Okay, so now I've got just all my items, and then I can go click on this and just narrow it down. All right. What in the world is that in the chat? Oh, Lisa's joking about her monstrous if statement. Yeah, so I feel like I'll go ahead and switch back to our little conversation mode, Joelle. I feel like this is going to be really good to like use it, but try maybe using it in baby steps if you think you might have a long, complicated formula like the one that I just now. like just put the filter on it and then make sure it can do that, and then maybe start adding complexity. And that's kind of usually how I write formulas anyway, just myself, because I like usually start kind of adding things on. Um, yeah. Were there
Yeah,
any
I
other
agree.
questions
It's
for
a
you two?
good starting point.
Yeah.
YouTube. I was taking a look. No, no comments. There's comments, but no questions.
Okay. Great. Well, everybody enjoy. I was kind of slightly advanced Power Apps users who are already familiar with Power Apps and already familiar with where the controls are, what they are, where the properties are. Then when you are in there creating your Power Apps, this gives you a little faster way. And instead of having to look things up that are more obscure, being able to just use that to write your formulas. Thanks everybody for coming. We have Power Hour every Wednesday at 11 Central. You can go to iwmentor.com and click schedule at the top to see when all the next power hours are going to be. We have all of our training courses too at IW Mentor. We have an advanced Power Apps class that teaches you all of this from scratch. It's like 12 hours long. And we also have a few events coming up, also listed on the schedule. I'll be speaking in Las Vegas at the Power Platform Community Conference at the end of October, and then at TechCon in Dallas the beginning of November. And I have coupon codes for those too when you use the links on the schedule page. So thanks everybody for coming. We will see you next time. Thanks, Joe.